Brothers, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you to the Kings for this kind of impromptu men's circle. I really appreciate it. And I really do believe that it doesn't matter where you do this, when you do it, there's a chance for everybody to share when the opportunity is given. So I thank you. I know you guys. I love what we are doing, what you guys are doing, and it's a pleasure and we're very appreciative at Br8ke The Silence for this opportunity. So I just wanted to start basically and just make it clear as to the kind of entry point for these circles. It's not rocket science, but there is a craft to it. And I just want to kind of introduce some of our code of conduct and structure for ways of doing things. So just to say that this is an open space, it requires people to kind of bring their best selves. It requires you to, challenge yourself in the space. It requires you to be aware of the moment you have. And the people that you're around, for you to decide what you're going to share and what you don't want to share. By no means do you need to bring things that are hot, things that are stuff that are really emotionally charged within you, right? I like to talk a little bit about there's like hot anger and there's cold anger. There's cold anger is the one that's kind of been reflected on, it's been thought about, it's been molded. You know exactly where it is in the body, right? Whereas hot anger is bouncing around everywhere and it's not really controllable and you don't even know what shape it is. And if you let it out, it can come out in any way, right? Both need dealing with, but for this space, it's more for those things, those kind of cold emotions that have had some time to mature. So we start the circle basically by going one by one. Everyone has a chance to speak. We sometimes go round in a circle or we sometimes do popcorn. It just depends on the numbers and how people are feeling. Sometimes it's a bit mechanical to go one by one. So, people just pop when they would like to. The code of conduct is that we've got a kind of 5 pillars: courage, mastery, responsibility, community, and discipline. And we like to think about, sometimes if you're kind of not sure about what you want to talk about, to sometimes think about those pillars and how they're playing a part or lacking in your current journey. Where are you feeling like you're having to be courageous? Where are you feeling like you've got lots of responsibility and maybe struggling or maybe flourishing? Where are you feeling like you're struggling maybe with your mastery, your craft, your thing that you're working on? What is the discipline? What is challenging you? I'm trying to give up smoking. That's the thing I'm trying to build positive habits around. Everybody has their thing that they have to build discipline around. You can talk about that. And then your community. How is it shaping you and how are you shaping it? And the experiences you're having around that. Very simple things. We do Chatham House rules. So in this case, we're being recorded. So there will be an opportunity for things to be shared. But generally in our men's circles, it is an idea that if you really do not want something spoken about, that you make it very clear. And that in general, no names or identifiable parts of the story are shared. To just keep people's stories safe. The other thing is then lastly, it's a situation where everybody has to be mindful. Some people are much more equipped and ready to speak than others. Just being aware if you're talking quite a lot, if there's somebody that hasn't spoken a little bit, to encourage them, step back sometimes so that there's space for some other people to come into. So we're going to start. We start with that rounds and we're going to do it in popcorn fashion. So just when you're ready to speak, when the Holy Spirit fills you to talk. The question is really, What is on your mind? When you go to sleep, what are the things that you worry about, that are the last thought before you go to sleep? When you wake up, what are the things that sometimes get you excited? What are the things that are stressing you? What's the things that are challenging you? Think about those things, and find what you're ready or happy to share. Okay, so that's basically it. I'll leave people to start when they like. I'm gonna participate with you and might just play a small role in just making sure that different people get to speak as well and not get missed out. But yeah, what's on your mind?
Before we start, I think coming from an ambitious person and still ambitious now, I'm always trying to plan. So when I'm going to sleep, I'm probably looking at right back at the day and be like, oh, I want to plan, I want to do something. Probably what kind of plays on my mind just before I go to sleep is to keep the ambition, but remove the need to do more in my life and trust more about what God has and what He's doing in the background, in a sense. So I think I'm in like that kind of limbo phase of letting go while keeping my vision strong, and also feeling like, okay, what do I need to do without doing, in a sense, just trusting that God is working in his favor, and He has in many ways, I guess. And I think that was troubling me a lot before, but recently I probably just found a bit more grace about it, a bit more peace, a bit more less coping mechanisms, finding ways to distract myself, less like watching too much YouTube or too much Netflix or comfort eating because I don't want to just be in the silence, and I've just allowed myself to be in the silence a bit more. During the day, I'm excited about life, man. When I'm waking up, even if the sun glimmers on my forehead or it don't, I'm happy, man. I'm excited about what's to come. What I'm excited of choice and opportunity. And I think sometimes we get overwhelmed by it when we have so much choice and so many different ways to go. As men, we want to know which ones are going to be step 1, step 2, all the way to step 10, step 20. And actually, that moment in itself is a blessing, that we have choice about which direction we want to go, what direction you don't want to have to go today. And I think that's where I've been recently, in that kind of limbo of letting go and letting God, but also in the this high gratefulness of choice as a man, to not have to choose and to even have a choice. So yeah, bit of a weird space for me. So I usually have a plan. I'm the guy who asks you, oh, what are you gonna do in 5 years, 10 years? And I'm thinking 5 years for myself. I just know I'm gonna be blessed. In 10 years, I'm gonna be blessed, and that's it. And I know that everyone around me is gonna be blessed too. So
Well done, Craig, man. I appreciate it. You sharing first as well. Yeah, I can quickly go actually, so just since I'm making noise. I think on my mind is, of course, the future, change, risk. I recently lost my job. I was made redundant, and that whole digestion of that whole experience, as a man, I think you want to be respected, you want to be useful, you want to be good at whatever you've picked to do. Um, you want to get recognized for that thing you've picked to do, and hopefully being recognized in a positive way. And I think losing your job and redundancy is the negative of all of that. It's like the worst case scenario. Um, and for me, it was really tough because it's like you're confident, but that moment is a real knock. It's like a real, are you sure? Should you be so confident? Is this a reality check? And, just that whole process every day, going to bed and just kind of like having to tell yourself, no, you should be confident. Whatever that's happened is not a reflection of how good you are or how committed you are. It's a reflection of the organization or the situation that they're in. Um, so yeah, it's been really tough for me. I can't lie. It's been tough, and it's been hard thinking about what next, because in that tough period where you've been your confidence knocked, actually, it's your thing, Craig. It's like there's actually options, and you need to be excited, and you need to be willing to grab like the most, challenging and interesting that you might not get again. Those chances, and it's just like that juxtaposition of having your confidence knocked in the moment where you need to have confidence. Um, so at the moment, I'm putting a lot of time into Break the Silence. I wake up thinking about Break the Silence and how it can do more and how I can gamble, as it were, not go back into the traditional working of full time and put more and more time into this. So yeah, I'm just trying my best.
You said something like, "What gets you the what last thing you're thinking about at night and waking up in the morning?" And I think for me, it's about seasons and the season that I'm in. Being a bit older, my children. Yeah, just a quick example of the fact of being this father and having this half term. Everything on this half term, maybe one day was for me. Everything else was for the kids, and it's just like, whoa! I remember every holiday it was about me going to Thailand, going away, wherever it was. I going to Dubai. Let me just go and catch up with all of this. Go and see somebody away, and I'm having to cancel this. I can't go out with you. That I can't do that. Someone's like, hey, you want to go out to? I can't go. Why I can't go? Because I mean, you can go, but there are consequences. Whereas when I was in a different season, there was no consequence. I could just go and do whatever I like. I lived for me. I call it selfish. Living for, not that I was selling any fish, but I was living for me, and it was great. But now I'm in a season where I'm a father, and this father season is difficult for me. I feel like there's a situation where I don't have time for myself. I've not picked up a console. I was laughing the other day. We were all out laughing. We were all together in Craig's house and having a great time. And then he talked about he picked up his PlayStation. And I was like, I've not picked up my controller. Like I can't. Like not because I. I mean that's the thing. The funny thing with it is just not that I can't do it, but I always feel like there's something else I should be doing. Am I putting that wash on for their boys? Am I working? Am I earning that money? Am I whatever it is? I don't, but you know, you can't. Sometimes you can't even go to the toilet without your young one of them coming in. So I feel like for me, it's been not that I can't travel this season. It's just that this season is hard. I feel like no matter how much I think in myself, I always thought I've decided to get married, have a family later because of I wanted to do everything I wanted to do. But now I'm in this season. It's like I still want to do those other things. I still want to go out and jam and go out every night and just enjoy it. But it's hard to be in this season, and I'm missing out on things. And it's that FOMO, right? You know, maybe. So, um, I love my boys. I love my family, but it's that situation where you always feel. Oh, well, I'm feeling that it's a lot. I'm missing out. And I don't know how to change that perspective so much, except for say to myself, it's a season. Sooner or later, all the money I'm spending on those kids, all the things it's always about them, it will change. And I won't be in this season, I'll be in another. And maybe I might be able to get back to that place where I could just go on a holiday and not have to worry. So I think, yeah, I thought let me just share that seasons. And I think the only way I'm getting over that is the fact that I know that this season is not going to be forever. This season, and I can think I'm like, am I being selfish? Is it right for me to think this way? I made the decision to have a family. I made the decision to have children. You deal with it, right? Like someone says, suck it up. But so I think when you get there, it's always for me understanding that wow, it's not as easy as my father. I was just a little funny about my dad. He always wanted me to get married and have kids, and I was like, Dad, man, like I don't want to be this. I don't want to do it, but eventually you do it. And I was like, Dad, this thing is hard. And I said, is this why you want me to have kids? He said, yeah, I want you to just see what I had to go through. I was like, Dad, how can you do that? But you know, I think there are people that have gone before it and they've done well. They've gone before it and doing well. People are going through it with me and they're doing well. So, just I think I've by having that mindset of seasons, I'm able to not lose it. if that makes sense. Yeah,
But I also hope that you just even sharing it as well just helps
absolutely.
that little bit as well, because it's like, some people might feel like, oh, I can't even say this aloud. Am I allowed to?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm glad that you have said it, because by you saying it, hopefully it helps you, but then it gave permission to others as well, and they don't suffocate themselves on
No
their
one
own
else is
words.
saying. Everyone else seems to be going. They're doing all right. They're doing great.
I'm sure many are feeling it.
Exactly.
I think, like what you, like we can hear, I can hear from you, you're bouncing between different emotions, different feelings of it. Like, do I choose this one? Do I choose, do I choose to feel grateful, or do I choose to feel sad, or do I choose to feel you need to push through and do? And I think, to be honest with you, it feels like you just need to be able to hold space for all of it. Like I've spoke to a few of the brothers before that you can mourn your life before, while being grateful for what you have and being excited for what you can become. And you're not probably going to look to chase what you had, because what you had didn't involve them, but what you can create will be even greater than what you've ever had. And I think you can have space for all of them. Don't think that you have to pick a day and then say, I'm going to choose sadness today, or I'm going to choose to ignore how I feel. Allow the fact that you can mourn it and look at your kids and your family and be happy, and then be like, oh, I can't wait until we can go on holidays where we are completely feeling free in that sense. Because once you don't have to pick a version of you think that you have to stick with today, then you're free. Because all of them are allowed. Because what's really happening is that you're just resisting parts of you that you feel like you think you're supposed to push down, because it looks like everybody is doing great. And you kept saying, oh, this father's doing great and this family's doing great. You didn't even say to yourself that you're doing great. You didn't even say to yourself that I made this work. I made this happen. You made it. You said it in a way of consequence, that I was the one to make this, to create the kids. I was the one to create this family. No. That is that was your gift to the world.
Achievement.
That is your achievement. That's how you need to see it. Because once you see it as an achievement, that I enjoyed that life that I get to mourn now. I get to enjoy the thing that I created right in front of me. But what I get to wish for in the future, of the freedom of a different type of family holiday, or of the independence I get to grow in these boys, where me and the wife can go somewhere else, or I can go meet the boys. You get to do that at the same time. All you need to remember is hold space for everything that you feel, because every one of them are valid. God didn't give it to you just to be a nuisance. It is valid.
At the moment, present, I think I'm at peace going to bed, which is nice. In weeks and months, I think at times I was going to bed thinking about finances because of my business, right? It was in a challenging situation. So there were times I was going to bed thinking about that, right? Because you're thinking about all the different aspects of business that need to go well, things that you need to pay for, right? So, and as a family man, again, an incredible wife and two beautiful children, you provide for them, and finances are big. So that's been challenging previously, but currently where I'm at, I go to bed freely, which is nice. And I think that's the growth in going through some of those situations and knowing it's just a part of life and seasons, but also trusting that God's going to bring me through those situations. So that's nice to reflect on, because I know there are times I'm like, I want to just sleep to not have to deal with the issues. But knowing waking up, I've got to deal with them again, right? Which is real. And in terms of waking up and, what do I look forward to? When I wake up, I'm very intentional. I call this my personal operating system. So doing things in the morning to prime myself for the day, right? And part of that is getting up first thing and going for a walk. I get to pray. I get to do my affirmations, and then gratitude, right? Which is really important for me. get sunlight as much as we can do in the UK. But when I do that, one of the key things that I do is I'm thankful for being able to wake up today. Whatever happened yesterday, I have another opportunity to be the best husband I can be, another opportunity to be the best dad I can be, another opportunity to be the best businessman or the best human being I can be. So I always feel like every time I wake up, I'm like, whatever happened yesterday, it's a clean slate. I get an opportunity in life to be able to be better. And that really helps me. So it's just a shift in the mindset. And it's helped because I'm like, whatever's happened, whatever I failed at or didn't go the way I intended it to go, I have another opportunity to be able to do better. And it's helped my mindset completely. So, yeah, good space regarding that. But I can reflect on when it was challenging for me.
Well, thanks, Kofi. Thanks everybody for sharing. You know, you guys are such a great group. As I already know, you're my brothers. But what you're really demonstrating, I think, and I want to mention it now, is that these spaces are for all men. It's not, you don't need to be crumbling and, you know, struggling and on the floor and, you know, being desperate for help. This is for men that are journeying through manhood, which we all are. And you guys are demonstrating it. There's small challenges, there's things that can get us down, there's things that we can hold in. It doesn't mean that we're about to have a breakdown. It just means that actually it's a time where we might need a space to share those things. We might need a space to bounce ideas and get different perspectives on the things that are going on for us. And that is really what Break the Silence is championing. So yeah, the next part of our circles really is now just connecting, discussing. You know, I've already heard some things from you guys that I'm like, I want to jump in, chime in. I've got something to say here. So yeah, it's really just an opportunity to support. I know Craig, you jumped in and shared it with Jay already, but if there's anything else that kind of that what people said made you think or you want to say back, this is the moment for that and before we close.
Kofi and Jay are like fathers in a sense, and they took their part where they had to feel like it's my responsibility. Like, forget all of what I need in my life. I've now brought some people into the world. Do you guys still, like, I guess for you, Jay, you've been quite transparent. Do you guys still feel that now, like you have to put yourself on the back burner for you to, because of what your choices? So you could call it consequence, but in reality, it's just the result in a sense.
Yeah.
And also, so as obviously, to be clear, I'm not a father yet in a sense. And one of the biggest things is that maybe I am in my selfish phase, but actually I try to be very aware of everything that's around me. It'd be my parents and stuff. I spend a bit extra time with them when they come around. Spend a bit extra time with my partners. Spend time with my boys, even if I'm like feeling pooped this week. But then I know that it's been 3 months, man. I gotta catch up with them, even if I don't feel like it. I try to do that in small. I think that's ways to prepare me for becoming a father. But I guess for you guys, do you feel that you've ever come to a point where, I'm a father, I have needs, I know I have needs, I know I have things I want, but I'm going to put them completely off because you know what, this is my result.
Absolutely. As a leader, you again, because it's responsibility, which you're alluding to, right? So we're responsible as men, as leaders in our home, and I wouldn't say put things on the back burner. But Jay mentioned seasons. It's really understanding where you are in the season of life.
Absolutely.
So if you understand you're in a season where, especially where the kids are really young, it's not say, you mentioned, playing PlayStation, but it's prioritizing, right? So, there is time in a day to do so many different things. And it's what is the priority right now? And it might be there are things that you would love to do that in this season of life you can't do as much of it, right? You could, when I was back at university, I could go to gym twice a day. It would be very rare for me to be able to do that as a parent right now, with owning the business and having kids, 2 kids under 4 years old. So it's just priorities. But you recognise, in 10 years' time, those 2 kids will be teenagers. So there'll be more time where there'd be things that I can't do now that I could introduce. and do more of. So it's just understanding that, but also allowing yourself to be present in the moment, because that stage goes very quick. Most people will say, "Oh, I wish, I appreciated that time a lot better," because it goes very quickly from when your kids want to do everything with you to sometimes when they're teenagers and you have to try and fight for their attention, right? So it's just recognizing the season, being present and enjoying it as much as possible, and recognizing some of these other things that we want to do, we can do more in the future, and recognize on the beauty of what we're building now. What do we want our family to look like and our legacy? So once you understand where you are next season, I think you can be content.
Absolutely. And I really loved that season that I was in, when you could just do all that. There's no harm. I can tell you that. But I really love this season also.
Yeah.
When when I come home and my son, it was so interesting that Kobe said, I'm fortunate I've married a fantastic person, and she's a great mother. And I've got 2 wonderful boys. When you come home, you're happy to come home. I know people that don't want to go home, bro. So I'm happy to go home. And I love my boys. And being present, it's almost like I'm so thankful that I can be in that present. That I've also seen what, being a little bit older, I've seen my friends who got married early, they missed out on so many things. I've been able to, because I'm not playing that vision, I'm doing puzzle with my son yesterday, and we spent an hour doing the puzzle. I could have been playing games, like, don't get me wrong, but it was great for being in that moment. And in that, and he's never going to be 5 forever. Like, there's going to be a period he's going to say, I don't want to play with you, Dad. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, sure.
I want to enjoy this. So I'm enjoying this moment. I'm still, like, as you said, mourning those other parts, but I'm still really, really enjoying these moments because of who I have in my life at the moment. But the one thing I do want to put in, just that word, back burner. There are things that I have to prioritize. I'm not going to have that. Before, I might have had that money to go away and just go do, one of my friends get married in Santorini. Drop everything. Just go. If I drop everything now, who's going to be the person that's looking after my child? Yeah, I mean, yes, the mum's at work, or she's gonna come with me. I have more decisions to make, and so therefore, it's not to say that I'm now putting myself last or whatnot, but I feel like these other things are more important to be dealing with and prioritizing. That's that word that you said, bro, which is great. And knowing that I've had those seasons of going to Italy or going to Spain for a wedding, and I'm in a new season that requires something else. So I'm happy and I'm flourishing in this season. I loved where I was, I loved where I am now, and I love where I'm going to be. But it doesn't stop me thinking about what it used to be. Oh, if that makes sense. So, I think that word back burner is quite really, really interesting because of it. I feel like you can't do everything at this moment in time. So what is the top? Like, for example, being here, in this environment, it's important to me. I could have done all these other things, but it's important to me. So those important things. I wake up, I'm on a prayer line in the morning. That's important to me. My relationship with God is important to me. Those things, going to a party, maybe that's the 4th important thing. So that's where I'm coming from, if that makes sense.
No, that's thank you.
I think it's a great question.
There's a men's circle that I'll never forget, where basically he said that a lot of things when you grow up as a man become zero sum, and he had to explain it to me, but he was basically saying, like, as a man, when you get a promotion, you get over it within a day. Within a day, you're now there.
Yeah.
You always wanted to be there.
Yeah.
You almost said to yourself you had to be there. So once you get there, it's like, oh, next day. And over time, since hearing this guy talk about this, I've started thinking about it. It's a real thing. You're on the stairs, right? And as soon as you make it to that step that you was looking at before, there's more stairs appeared, and the distance seems exactly the same. And one thing that I've thought about, and again, I'm saying this as someone that doesn't have children yet, but definitely someone that speaks to a lot of men that have children, is that you shouldn't make your responsibility zero sum, in the sense that he was talking about, well, if you take everything day by day, then every day, the same priorities are going to be the same priorities. Like your kids are going to be the number one priority, and making money priority two, or whatever you. But actually, if you are reflective on yourself and what you feel, and you're looking at it as a kind of bigger whole, then, you know, you might see that actually after a month, right, you have been prioritizing quite a lot. Actually, you might have time within a month for half a day where you see your boys. Even though that was fifth priority, and every day actually you don't get to fifth priority, but over the month, over the 6 months, over the year, actually, yeah, you might have time once for that. And he was talking about that being that zero-sum mindset. If you're not kind of aware of your feelings and the stuff that you do care about, and you're just focusing on the day and getting through, then you'll miss those things every time, and it builds up. You know, if that is a priority, even if it's a small one, if you don't fulfill it, you know, for the week, then the month, then the year, then the 5 years, do you know? By the time the new season comes, that's what all the season's gonna be about. Because it's been building that whole time, even though it didn't need to be, or it shouldn't be. So it's like, you know, that getting that kind of nice balance as well, not being zero sum. Yeah.
If you feel like you're flourishing in that season, right, whatever that is, sometimes we just need the hit or whatever that is. I don't know the right word. I want to say endorphin, but it's probably not the right word. But if you are still flourishing in that season, it does give you that sense of achievement, sense of well-being, sense of I'm doing okay. Like something you mentioned to me was that, you know, that whether I focus on myself, because for me, I'm fortunate enough to be able to provide for my family. That part is not even it's not even come to my mind, because I'm just able to do it, and so therefore it's the other things it's the other things I'm not doing, which is important. But actually, to be able to go, I'm looking after my family, I'm providing, I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that. That's an achievement. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, so you're flourishing in that, and now it labels you to go, okay, well, I'm actually doing okay here. I'm actually doing okay here.
If you take that one bit of moment to reflect, then you're like, actually, okay, yes, there's a lot of stuff here that feels like it's missing, but actually, I'm actually doing really well on this part. So it is the dopamine, the endorphins, like, because when you if you're not aware of it, you will never get the hit of it. In a sense, you will just keep chasing that thing that you think is the grass is greener kind of things. Oh, the grass is really green over there. It's like, yeah, but you got flowers over here, kind of thing. So yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful.
It's the weakest link thing for me. You've got to bank it. You've got to be a man that is able to be aware of their journey, so that they can look back and be like, I remember when there's no way I could have thought this way. There's no way I could have been ready financially to look after 2 children. There's no way that I could, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it takes that kind of level of mindfulness. And I think that's why these spaces where men are talking like this is so important, because it gives men not just time to speak about what's going on, but also to listen, reflect, hear from other people, and bank their own stuff as well.
When you're actually giving yourself affirmations, that is because he's closing off yesterday and starting anew. That's Bible talks about renewing your mind daily, changing that. Okay, that yesterday's done. What am I need to do, and what do I need to achieve? And I love that what you do as well, Coach, because that's a positive way of going at. You know, look, where can I be the best version of myself? I used to do this running coach. You always have it. Don't worry about yesterday's time. Be the best version of yourself today. But that's exactly what you need to be like, right?
All right, thank you, Kings. This is excellent. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing and allowing us to have this impromptu men's circle. Just to say that we could hear there was that kind of natural theme appearing of, like, you know, seasons, and even a little bit about fatherhood. You know, in the men's circles, we would have a space, about a half an hour slot, where we'd talk specifically about a theme. And Break the Silence, we have 14 themes already that we think is crucial to the journey of manhood. So we would either pick one of those, or if there was something naturally appearing in the men's circle, then we would delve more deeper into that. And we also have lots of resources and things like that that we can support men with, because it's not just about talking, it's also about being guided into what is healthy, good masculinity. You know, we hear a lot about toxic masculinity, but what is healthy, good masculinity, and how can there be some form or some idea of maybe what we should be chasing and what it could look like. And so we try and provide that through the circles as well. But yeah, just want to say thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Make sure you come down to some of our circles. There's some in East London, some in South London, so no excuses for anyone. And yeah, just appreciate the Kings and what they're doing for Break the Silence.
Appreciate you, bro.